Hey guys, it's Mike, another King Arthur Legends Rise video. We've got Hild in the game. We're going to take a look at her kit. I'm going to actually summon for her. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to get some rate up summons, but I do have rubies. In the background, we're going to talk about some of the rewards we got from the latest season and just kind of roll through some of the changes in the game and kind of get our first impressions. So kind of a fun thing. I did want to actually draw some attention to something that I just didn't know because I've never played with it. But if you are forging a solid piece of gear, you have these extra, let's just see, we're going to a vigor set here. I don't even have enough. You have these guys here, which will actually help rank up your chances for getting a better quality piece of gear. I believe one of them ranks up the chances of it being a higher star rating, and the other one ranks up the chances of it being legendary. But I just assumed it was part of what was necessary for forging. I never realized that you actually turn them on and off. So it's just kind of an interesting thing that I'm probably just a bonehead, and that's why I didn't realize it. But you can actually utilize these to get a better piece of gear. So if you are trying to get that special piece of gear, that might be worthwhile to utilize some of these things here. I was just noticing on my account, like they're stacking up. They don't really seem to ever go away. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But it's, you know, you run into stuff. I've been playing the game for 4 months. I just found that out. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, let's take a look at Hild and see if she's worth pulling for. So firstly, she's a cool looking champ. I like the wings, the detail, and the feathers. And she has that Valkyrie vibe, which is pretty cool. I think that they did a great job with her design, her weapon. It's kind of a 3D trident. I'm sure it's actually a candlestick, so I'm not sure that it really is a weapon. Sure, she's going to use it as a weapon, but ultimately, it's super cool looking champ. I like all the movement going around the candlesticks and the flames on top, and then I think she is starting with her frost relic, the frost light here. Okay, that kind of changes up. That one comes a little less dimensional. Oh, that looks pretty cool. But let's take a peek at her skills and see if she's worth pulling for. At the start of battle, 100% individual chance to grant each steed favorite ally effect accuracy for 2 turns. Or effect accuracy for 2 turns. So that's pretty good there. These are the skills as they're maxed out. So as you level them up, I'm assuming you could gain effects here or number of turns. So that's all part of it. But that is what she would be after she gets maxed out. 100% independent chance to inflict weathering on each enemy for 1 turn. So this is an AoE. And weathering is the new dot damage that's coming in. It takes 3% damage each turn. Target's effect resistance decreases by 10%, and target damage taken increases by 5%. So that's actually pretty strong. I'd be curious on some of the other dots if they have any side effects like that. I don't really recall that being a thing. So maybe that's a kind of a little extra where you get into bringing resistance down. And then the last part of this ability, Lingering Wind, is 100% chance to gain wind chill for the rest of the battle. And wind chill is attack up 10% and effect accuracy up 10%. So that's pretty solid. The books you put in here, effect accuracy increase rate for 20%, and then number of effect accuracy turns increase by 1. So this is going to be on this first ability. It'll probably be 80% to start out with, and then for 1 turn. Now this is kind of weird because she's a steed favor, so this would only be effective with a steed team. The other ones are going to be all the time. And I think as far as steeds go, running her alongside Lancelot, maybe like a Merlin, could be pretty effective. But it seems to me that's a pretty stacked favor already, so I'd like to take a peek and see like where she could have maybe fit a little better. Because there's some factions that just have a lot of healers or a lot of support champions, but not a lot of damage. And it seems to me she's going to be a pretty big damage dealer. She's attack based and she's a dot damage. I'm hoping that her effects are going to be similar to Rosier, but her stats are going to be a little more comparable to a legendary. On her second passive here, when using skill 3 specifically, 100% independent chance to inflict weathering on each enemy for 2 turns. So that's her dot that she's putting on. It's an AoE dot. So every time she's doing her skill 3, she has a chance to drop that in addition to whatever's going on with the A3. And then 100% chance to charge attack gauge by 100%. And this does have a 3-turn cooldown. So every 3rd turn she gets to go twice, which is pretty cool. 100% chance to gain Prepare Explosive Gust for 1 turn. And Prepare Explode. Oh my gosh, look at this. We got a novel in here. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Total damage 100% of attack. Damage increases according to the effect resistance. Total additional damage per stat is 0.9% of attack. That seems very precise. You're like 0.5% or a whole percent, but 0.9 is very precise. And then on the third hit, she has a 100% chance to trigger dot explosion on each enemy, and that detonates all dot effects on the target, dealing damage. So that's going to be like a poison explosion or some of the other things that we've seen in other games that really is kind of fun. This is kind of what I was hoping she would have on her kit, is something that would allow her to really build kind of a new and unique team where you stack a bunch of dots and then she just blows them up. And I'm assuming they take all the damage for all the turns and all of the dots that are on them all at the same time. So like going through Gorgos, probably do some super crazy speed runs utilizing Hild here. And she also has a 100% independent chance for the last hit to inflict effect resistance decrease. So that's going to add to that damage she's doing by the 0.9% of attack. And then 100% independent chance to charge attack gauge of each ally by 30%. So this is a huge ability right here. This is actually the A3 of Sergius right now. He was doing 60%, and then they nerfed him down to 30. So she's doing that ability plus all of this at the same time. Now that being said, it is on a 3-turn cooldown, so every third turn she's going to be able to do that, not every turn. So it is not quite as good as Sergius as far as turn meter, but she's doing a lot more when she does that. And then her third passive ability, she's got when attack, 100% chance to gain wind chill. That's where she gets those extra stats for attack percent and effect accuracy. If she happens to have 2 or more stacks of wind chill on her, she removes all of them, and then when wind chill is actually removed, 100% chance to gain attack increase 2 for 1 turn, 100% chance to grant each steed's favorite ally effect accuracy for 1 turn, and 100% chance to inflict weathering on the selected target for 2 turns, cannot be resisted. So this is going to be a single target situation when wind chill is actually removed. And adding more of that weathering, so that's gonna be pretty good. It sounds like she's gonna be stacking up quite a bit of dots, and these are all just on her passive skills. We haven't even got to her active skills yet, so she's gonna be stacking up quite a bit of dots passively, and then from there it's just a matter of exploding them and bringing down the enemies. So that's gonna be pretty good. Moving over to her active skills, we got her A1, attack 1 enemy, total damage 55%. Each point of resistance increases damage per unit. Total extra damage per point is 0.5%. 60% chance to inflict chill for 1 turn. And that's after it gets rated up. So she's doing chills like Anguish. And it's a 50% to start with, moves up to 60% on the A1. As we move over to the A2, she attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Total damage is 195%. Percent of attack. Each point of resistance increases damage per hit. Total extra damage per point is 0.9% of attack. 100% chance for the last hit to inflict weathering for 1 turn. So we got 100% for 1 dot damage coming in here. But looking at her kit and all the extra damage she's getting from resistance, you probably want to build her a lot like Anya, except you also want her to have effect accuracy so she lands her dots. So her build is probably going to be a little stat heavy, trying to get your effect resistance high as well as your effect accuracy, and then obviously getting attack high and everything else so that she's actually doing some damage. But I think her claim to fame may not be the actual damage she's doing as opposed to the dot explosion, so you may not have to really push her attack that far. But trying to build resistance and accuracy back to back is going to require some pretty good gear to be able to do it. And then last but not least, we move on to her A3 here, which I think you're going to be spamming her A3 based on the second passive when using skill 3 specifically. That's where you get the explosion going on. And that is your 3-turn cooldown going on that end. So I think the A2 is probably going to be kind of on the back burner, but the A3 is where we're going to be. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Total damage, 150% of attack, 100% chance for the last hit to inflict chill for 1 turn. If the target has dot, deals an additional damage. So with this ability, we're doing another AoE dot damage with a single chill going on there. So you don't have any abilities that stack multiple chills or multiple weatherings, except where her passives overlap her abilities. So she will put multiple on, but it's not like Rosier, who can have 50% chance for 3 hits to stack up dots. But all of her stuff is, I think, is pretty much AoE except for her A1. So she's kind of going to be a little more like Lancelot in how she's putting dots on everybody. This one here, assuming she's on the team, and you might run her with other people with dots, probably, she's going to hit a whole extra time if there's dot on the enemy. So unless she just exploded the dot, I'd expect this to basically be a 3-hitter AoE. So I don't know if you've ever used this function with where you come in and test the skills. I came in on auto and I was trying to figure out what was even happening. So turn her off auto, let's see what's going on. This is actually a really cool thing that they do in the game, just so you can kind of get a feel for how things are working. But you've got this A1, theoretically we've got a 60% chance when she's maxed out to land that chill. This is your weathering, so that came in from her passive. I don't think all of her active dots are going to be chill, and then her passive dots are the weathering. So it does have a 100% chance for the last hit to inflict weathering. So I eat my words. Here's an active skill that's putting weathering on. So I thought it was just chill, but she's doing chill with this guy here, weathering with her A2, and then I think we're back to chill on her A3. Yeah. But with this ability here, the second hit is what's going to land the weathering, and unfortunately these guys are not strong enough to actually endure the second hit, which is going to be kind of tough too, because we're not going to be able to actually stack any dots and explode them, because we're just going to kill them. So we don't really get a chance to see what this explosive ability does. I think that was the extra hit when they had dots on them, so that was AoE 3-hitter, and that one ability put 3 dots on them at that time. So you got a chill, and then you had a weathering here, but I think the passive now needs to cool down. Trying to see here, that one didn't get anything on it. You got a chill and a weathering there, and then that extra hit. So I mean, I think she is going to do some damage. I think she's going to stack more dots than one at a time, like it kind of feels. But like with all her passives overlapping with the ability, I think her A3 is going to be the move that you're running. So not a bad idea to build her in a vigor set, because otherwise she's never going to be able to do it. So that's probably going to be necessary, especially for early game. If you happen to be running her alongside Nika's Chivalry level 8, probably get away with not having her in a vigor set. Then you could probably do accuracy and resistance, or you could build her with damage and do ascension and damage, or accuracy and ascension, or something along those lines. But I think stacking resistance and effect accuracy is really going to be a big win for her. So I'd probably lean that direction myself, at least to start. So taking a look at the Steed faction, like you've got Lancelot, you've got Merlin, you've got Vivian as a good healer. The best dot damage coming from a legendary character is Lancelot. So it feels kind of weird they would put another dot character in that same faction. That just seems like they would have spread out. Like I don't think the Serpents have a single dot damage person. I don't think the I guess Claudius would be the Wolves damage dealer, but they have it's pretty slim pickings in the Wolves faction. Like I cannot get through stage 10 on the faction yet. I haven't spent time on Claudius, but at the end of the day I can stay alive. I just can't do damage. So that's kind of a struggle, but I think having a dot dealer come into that faction probably would have been a little bit better. But the thing to consider at the end of the day is we are super early into this game. And if they continue to drop these champions every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, whatever it is, you have to kind of imagine where this game's going to be a year from now. And you're talking that you're going to be looking at potentially an extra 12 legendary characters in a year. Now all of a sudden you have a lot more chivalries you're working through. Like we talk about, like if you were starting the game today, how there's probably 6 to 9 months of content for like a free-to-play player if you were just kind of going at it. And then by the time that 9 months rolls around, how many more things were added to the game that might extend it out to a year or further. But all these updates they've been doing is really kicking the can down the road as far as moving the finish line away. So every time they add a new legendary, this is 11 more pulls you've got to get to max your characters out, assuming you want the character. But the kind of the strange thing about this game is in most gacha games, you do not have the option to max your account out. Like it's never a thing that you can actually do. Whereas in this game, you can do it. Like if you want to come in and actually max out your account. And the funny thing is I always say, like, we always say we want that. And then we get to the point where we're there, we kind of complain that there's not enough. We want more characters. But it's hard to get as excited about each individual pull when you know eventually you're going to get everybody. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But I do think as long as they keep extending the game out, they keep making new content, at least at some pace. It shows us that they're committed to a long-term process with the game, and it'll allow some people to probably put the game down, come back in a couple months and be like, oh, I have a couple things I can work on, and then maybe pick it back up, and maybe some of the new content and the new arena or whatever is going on speaks to that person, they get back into the game. But I think updates like this are extremely crucial, and they breathe new life into King Arthur, and it's very exciting. I do think we probably need to bring champions into the game a little bit faster, and I think that we do need to flesh out some of these other rarity levels, and I think also fleshing out each of the factions, where it's like, okay, why would we bring in another dot dealer into the Steed faction? Probably doesn't make sense. So maybe we bring them in on the bulls, or maybe we bring them in the serpents or the foxes here. I keep calling them foxes. They're hounds. It looks very much like a fox, or a wolf, I guess. Probably more of a wolf. But nonetheless, new champion in the game. We are super excited to have her, so let's go ahead and see if we can bring her onto the account. Before we do, we're going to jump into a lot of rewards that we got, specifically for the Hall of Conquerors. This has been, I think, a breath of fresh air in the game. I actually got some very fortunate RNG, got 52 hearts on Penvid, so we're going to get that. You can see all these rewards I'm getting from this. I got 3 upgraded summons, 11 of these guys here for the selection for getting chivalries, 300 stamina is always a win because you get to play the game. As we move over to Hrungnir, we got to level 40, which is pretty good. We got 8 of these guys here, 1 of the upgraded summons, 150 stamina, a lot of goodies here. And then Talos, we're going to pull these guys up some more. And we got another upgraded summon. That's what we need right now, upgraded summons. Some more rubies. But all this stuff is just so, I mean, it feels very rewarding. And then I did squeak in, I think I finished like 48th or something like that. I squeaked into the top 50 again, so I'm up to 3 of these fragments for Caliber and Arthur's Frost Relic. So that'll be pretty exciting if and when I ever get there. It's definitely going to take me at least 10 weeks because I'm not even close to getting up here to this like top 10 where you start getting multiple aspects of this. Now, the new season, I just realized, has moved away from the Frost Relic and has moved into the Storm, which is a little bit rough. Like, as at this point here, I don't know where you're going to get those Frost Relics. So if that continues to be, like, if you're sitting like right now, let's say you had 9 fragments, like you have to wait 30 days before you can get that extra fragment. Could be a little rough. I don't know that I mind it. I think long-term goals are necessary in this game because everything is so short. Like, you can get everything so fast. So I don't know that a Storm Relic or a Frost Relic is a big enough carrot to really try for this, though. I think it's more of just the competing. You're like, hey, I want to get in the top 50. And then over time, you're just going to get in the thing. But we'll see. I mean, I think that everything they add to the game is new stuff in the game. So, at the end of the day, there's nothing to complain about there. Got 833 stamina. They did actually raise our stamina to 398. I want to say I was around 298. Maybe they raised it by 100. I'm not sure, but it's at least 100. Which I think is a big win because a lot of times you can't get in the game first thing in the morning or maybe before you go to bed, and all of a sudden your stamina stacks up. Then you're kind of wasting that time not accruing stamina, so you don't get to get the resources you want on your account quite as much. So I think that's a pretty cool win in the game that they added there as well. As we take a peek at the events going on right now, we've got the Hild event obviously going on, the dungeons going on where you get added rewards. I think this is the first time they've actually dropped down to 80%. I think usually it's 100% for using the champion that's in there, but it does have a pretty good pool. But you got a full Steed team going on right up here with that with the legendary characters, and then you have Anguish and Cormac and some uncommons and commons as well, but 2 great rares that you can add into the team if you need to, depending on what the content is and what you're struggling to get through. On the event arena, I haven't even looked at this yet. I'm pretty excited. I went and did 1 battle, and then they did another update for 2 hours, so I went to bed. But the event arena looks like it's kind of a laddered system where you climb up your 200. We're going to put Hild on the team, which this should be an area she shines. So we can put her on the team, probably replacing Anguish would be my guess for my team at least. And then you gain your rewards coming through here. And then we do have the half-year anniversary event going on as well. We have actually 2 events where you can get some added rewards in here. So a lot of special summons actually. It looks like we get like a little banner put around our character. Man, quite a few summons in here actually, so that's pretty solid. And so far it looks like you're just gonna get this from playing the game. So if you're going through your power-up dungeons, your favorite dungeon, your equipment dungeon, sealed temple, you're getting points everywhere. So it's not even something that you really have to focus on. As you do anything in the game, you're going to be stacking these up, which is kind of nice. So we look at what's going on here. You got to use gold, then you got to use the rate up summon tickets. You got 60 of those. Special summon tickets, you got 60 of those. Use legendary mastery memory stones. So this is what I've been stockpiling mine for. We need 20, 40, 60, 80. Oh man, so 80 of those. Although to be fair, these rewards here are not very good compared to last time when we used 120 mastery memory stones. We got a selector legendary relic, and with these guys here, I've almost never seen these actually give you anything good. But that being said, it's a time in the game you are getting a resource for using a thing that's bettering your characters. It's hard to sit on 80 of these when you know these chivalries are going to affect your characters in a positive way. You also have a crystal consumption event going on here. So this is kind of an all-in-one situation going on with this half-year anniversary event. All in all, you got 28 things you got to do. Oh my gosh, 12,000 crystals. That is so many crystals. How long is this going? Oh, this is going on for 20 days. That's a long time. So yeah, so you got a lot of things to go through and do in here. I'd say the 12,000 crystals is probably going to be pretty hard to do, but you know, 4 to 6 I think is probably pretty reasonable for most free-to-play accounts. Probably in that space over 20 days. And then on the legendary mastery memory stones, if you've been stockpiling them, then this should be no big deal. But honestly, this is not worth the effort as far as the reward attached to it. I'm probably going to utilize mine just because I want to put chivalries on Caliber and Arthur and maybe Brennan and some of my other champions that are really lacking chivalries. So I'll probably use 80 of them and start stockpiling them again for next time, and then hope for the best that out of all of this stuff I get anything that makes any difference at all. And then in the event arena daily missions, we've got these guys going on as well. Claim win in event arena. I did one battle. I already got this complete. And then I think these are the materials that you get. The faintly magical fragment obtained from dismantling equipment. So a couple of these tasks, we got to play in the event arena 5 times and then purchase event arena enhancement buffs. So let's take a peek at that and see exactly what they're referring to. So you have this enhancement buff on your team down here. So right behind my big old head right here, you got purchase day 1 enhancement buffs. This is where you can add enhancements to your folks here. So you have polymorph here that you can put on your champions. You got Pierce, attack speed plus 50, HP plus 2,000, defense plus 100, and attack plus 300. So I'm going to go with attack speed plus 50 for sure. These are free, so I have to purchase 4. We're going to go Pierce plus 10%. We're going to add polymorph just in case somebody lands polymorph. That's 2 turns that the enemy is basically useless. And then out of that, I'm trying to think what else we would do. Probably defense, just to make us a little more survivable in that space and see how that goes. So let's go into there and see, like, if we look at total team power right now, with those adjustments I just made, my team power shot up, well, I don't even know, 14,000 points. So I should be able to get pretty deep into here. And then you have event champions that you can use as well. So then as you complete these battles, you have these tickets right here. So each day I think you have 5, and then you just work as far up as you can. So as you move up, you rank up. So I'm going to take on 189 because that's the highest on the list, and push on, and then hopefully, you know, over the course of however many days I can get up towards the top 50, top 25 maybe top 10, I don't know. We'll see who's in my group of 200. But I do have a fairly strong arena team, but eventually you get to a point where everybody's running Anya in counter, and it's just tough. Like, it's getting through some of these teams becomes very difficult. That's actually why I have Brennan, is for those extra shields, so that I have a better chance of getting through there. But you get up against a Brennan team, and then he's putting heal disruption, so having Nika on the team doesn't make any sense. And, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where you're just constantly moving through different strategies. But you can switch out your team, make it better, try to fight specific teams as they come in. So far, I wouldn't say any of these teams are challenging. So it's just a matter of, you know, who's putting effort into their team and what they're doing with it. I do think that the buff of 50 extra attack speed is probably pretty broken. I would have taken that buff with 10 extra attack speed, because, I mean, it's just, if you get to go first, it makes all the difference in the world, and every bit of attack speed you can get on your Morgan is going to be a huge difference. So I should actually be running Storm Morgan or Frost Morgan. That way she's doing the AoE defense down or increased damage taken, so everybody's getting a little more damage. So probably swap her out with one of those two. But outside of that, I mean, it'd probably be a while before I'm in a space where things are difficult enough that it matters. So after one day, I've moved up 19 positions. I don't know if I lose if I fall down or if I just stay here. It is just a matter of getting to the top. So we'll see. But we have 13 days to press on the season and see what's going on. If we take a peek at the rewards here, it looks like we're getting clan tokens just as we move up. So just another way for us to get more of those guys. I don't know that's going to be enough for people to really want to do it. Although, based on the feeling I have right now, like, this system to me feels a lot better than the current arena situation. So those arena tokens come over to the arena shop, and now you have some more things going on inside here that could be worthwhile. So at some point I'm going to have to buy some of these and see exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. But that will be, I think this is how you're going to go ahead and enhance your gear. These are the pieces that you need. I'm not entirely sure if this is the only place you get them. I think that they said as you break down other pieces of gear, you get this stuff as well. But I'm not entirely sure where you go to break down stuff either. So we'll have to keep poking around in there. But this video is already getting a little bit long. I'm going to try to keep my videos a little shorter. After doing those account takeovers for my nephew, all those videos were like 40 minutes to an hour. I was like, this is too much. It's too much to edit. It's just too much. So I'm going to try to keep my videos around the 20-minute mark, hopefully under. But there's, like, on days like this, there's just so much to cover in the game. And I don't want to not cover it, but at the same time, I'm learning stuff as it goes. I'm going to go through here and clean up my item box here. I noticed that they got rid of the total amount of items. I wonder if that is actually true or not, or if it has a new amount. Man, I am stacking up. I mean, I need to go through some stamina. I do need to spend some time in Stormcat and get some crystals. I also always could use gold, so probably spend most of the time in Gorgos actually. But we'll get through here and go and see about emptying this out. I'd be curious if this was part of the upgrade where we no longer have a cap. Which, I mean, there's not that many items you can really have in the game short of gear. I mean, the gear itself, if you have a lot of pieces of gear, I mean, that stacks up, but everything else is kind of finite. It's just a matter of, you know, how many of them you have. So, you know, it is what it is. 14 of these guys. Let's see if we get anything. We're still looking for Bodwin's Flame Relic. I don't see any rares in there, so we definitely didn't get it there. But Merlin's Storm Relic is in the shard shop, so if I could stack up enough tokens to get that, I would definitely want to get that on the account. I don't know if it's one of his better relics, but it's the only one I don't have. I have Merlin's Flame, and I have his Frost Relic. Obviously, he starts with it. One thing I have not seen come into the game, which I was hoping would actually be on the update, is one of these special relic summons, like some sort of token or something. For the time being, it looks like it's still just crystals are the only way to really summon these. So I haven't done a single pull on these yet because I want to use my crystals for new champions. But as we look through here, we've got 9. We're 1 away from being able to do a 10 pull there. 3, 7, normal summons. Let's get these guys going. See what we can get knocked out. Still have a couple rares. I think there's 4 rares I'm working on as far as getting to Chivalry level 10. Didn't get any this time. But we're going to get those guys converted into tokens, which will be a big win there. I'm trying to think. There was Anya. Here comes a rare. Anya was in there. Saris was in there. I think I have Anya on Chivalry 8, so probably a little less necessary to get her going. There you go, Hild there. That might do the trick for her. That might get her to Chivalry level 10. But they also had Saris in the shard shop, and that would be a pretty cool pickup as well. So we're going to pull these guys here. Make sure my wish list is dialed in, because once I hit stage 9 on Morgan, she's coming out because she gets that extra 15 speed, I believe. And then I can put somebody else in there. But we're going to hopefully, where are we at with pity? And we are guaranteed to hit pity. If I have to pull one extra one, we'll do it. And so we should be getting one of these 4 characters with this pull. So that'll be a big win on the account. Kind of hoping it's Morgan just so I can move her off the wish list and be done. It's going to take me all the way to pity. Take me all the way to pity. Very last one. We got a couple 3 rares actually. They're all tokens for me. Let's go ahead and summon this one. See who we get. I'm going to say it's going to be Iwart. But hopefully, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I want them all. That's why they're on the wish list. So let's see who we get here. And I do admit it's repulsive and frightening. We got another Brennan. So this is awesome. So I think that's Chivalry level 3 for my Brennan, because I've got a pull from him, and then I found him in the shard shop as well. So we're starting to get those chivalries stacked up on Brendan to make a big difference on what he's doing for the account. So that is awesome. So yeah, that will be Chivalry level 3. We can take a peek at what that's bringing to the account. We have 30 raid up summons and then a bunch of crystals and a big old dream. So let's see if we can get Hild on the account. They're doing this again, which I think is pretty cool that they're adding this as a little extra incentive for summoning. Hopefully it doesn't take us all the way to pity, and hopefully we can get a couple other legendaries along the way. I'm right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. That's awesome. So we got a legendary there. Let's see who it is. Your wings give you freedom. It's got to be her. It's got to be her. That is awesome. So I think she was the first pull. That's pretty amazing. My very first pull, I ended up getting the brand new character. So that literally was my very first pull on the account right there with that 10 pull. So that's pretty incredible. I didn't take a look at her chivalries. I'm sure that they probably stack up and are pretty good. But I am going to pull and at least get one more copy of her. I do need to consume some crystals for the half-year event. So we'll get that going on. And then I did want to take a peek in the... Who else is here? So we have Lancelot, Merlin, Gawain, and Gwyavir. So all these characters are going to be pretty strong, pretty solid. Gwyavir, there's not a lot of uses for her. And she doesn't really require a lot of chivalries. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a collector. I want them all. Lancelot and Merlin, they find their way into a lot of my teams. So both of those would be great. Gawain, I do need to build because there's specific areas where he can do a lot of work for you. I just haven't built him enough for him to be able to do it. But we're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to go until we get at least one more copy of her. And hopefully somebody else along the way. But let's give it a shot here and see if we get lucky again. That was just ridiculous luck. The very first one I pull I get her. So we got 2 rares in this bunch here. Hopefully we can start getting to that point where we're going to start finishing up all the rares. We also got the talismans, the selector chest, which is a big win there. Go into here and pull up and go 12,000 crystals for that event is quite a few. Like I have 10,000 on the account, and I've been stacking them up, going through all those extra things in the challenges and whatnot. But I can't imagine very many people are sitting on 10,000 crystals. A lot of in-game accounts probably are, but a lot of like free-to-play, probably not so much. So we used all our luck up front, which I'm okay with. We got to hit our pity system and got another Brennan and then Hild on the account. These guys, another Hild. So she's done for sure now. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then I think who we have left is Sarah, Anguish, Ralph. And that might be it. It might just be those 3. And we are not going to pity. That is awesome. So we're kind of hoping we don't get Hild on this one. Very first pull again. What does your shield protect? So we got a Gwyavir. So that's going to be awesome. It doesn't reset pity. So we're going to keep on going towards the Hild. But we got a little freebie on the way. That takes her to Chivalry level 3 for me, which is pretty cool. And we got a Rosier, probably my favorite rare in the game. Although she is already on Chivalry level 10, so she's going to be tokens for the shard shop, which is totally okay. I don't want to say it because our luck's been really strong, but it's been a long time since I got a multiple legendary pull. So, you know, maybe we're overdue. Maybe we get a Hild and a Lancelot at the end of this thing all at the same time. But let's see here. We got Frederick. There's our Anguish, so that might wrap up Anguish. That'd be pretty cool. And I think we're probably getting close to pity on this one. I lose track. I get so excited when people come in. Here we go. Legendary. We're going to find out if it's pity or not. First pull again, so I'm going to say that was not pity. Your wings give you freedom, so we got another Hild right there. That's pretty exciting. On to Chivalry level 1. So I'm not saying I'm done pulling for her, but I think I'm going to take a break for now. As this video is already pretty long, we'll take a quick peek at those chivalries and then we'll get on out of here. So first we'll start with Gwyavir real quick. Jumping into her 3rd chivalry, we're getting an additional skill effect, Princess's Favor. 100% independent chance to remove 2 debuffs, dots, or abnormal status from each ally except yourself. That's actually a pretty strong chivalry pickup right there. She is a great support champion. Her claim to fame is Cromcroc though, and once you get a team that kind of gets through him, it doesn't much matter. But that's actually a pretty strong ability. So got her all the way back here at the end. So we've got Hild there on the account. For the first chivalry, we got Lingering Wind, additional skill effect, 100% independent chance to inflict weathering on each enemy for 1 turn. So that's actually going to be a pretty big chivalry for her. Getting that on the account, that's going to be that extra stack of dot damage that she's doing, so that's pretty big time. Additional skill effect, Lingering Wind, 100% chance to gain windshield, so that's where she starts putting that on her, and then if she gets 2 stacks of that, I think she does additional dots. So that's going to be another one that's probably pretty strong for her. Storm Source, when wind shell's removed, that's where she's actually removing and inflicting the weathering, so that 3rd chivalry is going to be pretty necessary. Storm Sword skill enhancement reduces skill cooldown. And it looks like they built her a lot like Caliburn Arthur, where their first 5 chivalries are really what gets her kit dialed in, and then she just gets stats. And I say just, like, stats are really important and they help out a lot. But the cool thing is she's going to function as a player. Like a lot of the early legendaries, you had to get all the way to Chivalry level 8 to get that last big Chivalry push or that big burst. So now getting to Chivalry level 5 I think is a little more achievable. But this 5th Chivalry is where she moves from Pressure Surge to Explosive Gust. In Pressure Surge she still does the dot explosion, but you can see it seems to be a lot less stuff than what's going on with Explosive Gust here, where she also has the chance to inflict resistance decrease for 2 turns and increase the attack gauge of each ally by 30%. So getting her to Chivalry level 5 probably going to be a pretty significant win. But now that I got her on the account, I'm going to go ahead and get her built out, stacked up on stats and whatnot, get her into Gorgo so that I can start doing that event dungeon. And then as the 2 weeks press on, probably pull for her more, just because I think she is going to be pretty solid. If I could get her all the way to Chivalry level 5, that would be amazing. But it's really going to depend on how many crystals I can stack up or how many rate up summons I can pick up. Might be a time to take a peek at maybe spending again. I am at $155 for the account total, but coming in here buying the champion pass, this would get me probably close to another 60 rate up summons by doing the 2,000 here as well as the champion pass. And that way we'd be back on the account. But we do have several days before we open up these 20 that are sitting here. But it will be during her event, so that will be an option for me in that space. But that's about what I got for you guys today. A lot of fun stuff happening in the game. Probably cover more of it as the next couple days go on. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. It means the world to me. And we are still looking for some players to come over to MikeGoG and join us in our clan. Outside of that, I look forward to seeing you next time.